Well, here we are again, and today we're going to be practicing word families. Now, the reason for doing this is, remember, we've been working on that all-important concept of syllables, because remember, English is that syllable-time language, moving from stressed to non-stressed syllables. And practicing with these word families is going to enable you to see how the whole sound of the word changes really dramatically when you move the stress in the word. So let's go to that next slide, and you're going to see that group of word families. Now, if we look through that first column, in the first column you're going to see photograph, telegraph, democrat. They're 3-syllable words. The stress in all of those is going to be on the first syllable. So they're going to have that sound, So, So we're going to do photograph, photograph, telegraph, democrat, diplomat, politics, personal, competent, family. Okay, did you hear that stress? That first syllable is longer, louder, and clearer. If we go to that second column, you're going to notice that we're going to move the stress to the second syllable. Now it becomes photography. Now, photography is 4 syllables, but we're stressing that second syllable. That's the one where we're going to pause, we're going to rest on it, and we're going to say it longer, louder, and clearer. So, and that's the same for all of the words in the list. So we go photography, telegraphy, democracy, diplomacy, political, personify, competitive, familiar. Okay, did you hear that second syllable? Longer, louder, and clearer. We're going to move to the last column. Actually, I'm going to switch sides and move to that last column. And you're going to see in photographic is going to be the 3rd syllable that we're going to emphasize. So we're going to have photographic, telegraphic, democratic, diplomatic, politician, personality, competition, and familiarity. Familiarity. You could hear the change. I hope that you could hear the change in the syllable. Longer, louder, and clearer. Now I'm going to go across, because that's where you're going to see how changing the stress in the word really changes the sound of the word. It almost doesn't sound as if it's part of the same family, but it is. So here we go. We're going to work, and I want you to pronounce with me afterwards. So photograph, photography, photographic, photograph, photography, photographic. Could you hear it? Could you feel it? Photograph, photography, photographic. Now we're going to come to the next one. Telegraph, telegraphy, telegraphic. Telegraph, telegraphy, telegraphic. Democrat, democracy, democratic. Democrat, democracy, democratic. Diplomat, diplomacy, diplomatic. Diplomat, diplomacy, diplomatic. Politics, political, politician. Politics, political, politician. Personal, personify, personality. Personal, personify, personality. Competent, competitive, competition. Competent, competitive, competition. Family, familiar, familiarity. Family, familiar, familiarity. So I hope you can keep listening to that and keep practicing it with me, because it's really important for you to be able to change the rhythm of the word as you change the stress pattern. And now we're going to put these words in sentences, and I want you to work with me. Take out the sheet that I gave you in class on word families, and we're going to go over that together. So let's go to the next slide. And here you're going to notice now these words are embedded in sentences. So you hear the first one, photography, remember, photographic and photograph. So I'm going to read each sentence 2 times. Listen the first time, and then the second time try to practice it with me, and then afterwards you're going to make that tape. So remember, photography, photographic, and photograph. Okay, so here we go. In photography, you need photographic equipment to make a photograph. And I'll say it one more time, so practice with me now. In photography, you need photographic equipment to make a photograph. That's very difficult even for me to say. I really need to be paying attention to which syllable I'm stressing. Let's go to the second one. In a democracy, a Democrat belongs to the Democratic Party. So there we had democracy, Democrat, Democratic, right? Democracy, Democrat, Democratic. So here we go. In a democracy, a Democrat belongs to the Democratic Party. In a democracy, a Democrat belongs to the Democratic Party. Democratic Party. That's really tough. We're going to go to the next one. Here we have personal, personifies, and personality. Personal personifies personality. So here we go. In his personal life, he personifies the personality of a president. In his personal life, he personifies the personality of a president. Let's go to the last one on this slide. Competent, we have competitive and competition. So competent, that's that first syllable one. Competitive, the second syllable one. Competition is the third syllable one. So here we go. The competent, competitive athlete entered the competition. The competent, competitive athlete entered the competition. So keep practicing those. We're going to go to the next slide. There are a few more here. Okay, here we come to the politics, politician, political party. So politics, politician, political. Okay, so politics first syllable, politician third syllable, political is the second syllable. So in politics, a politician must select his political party. I really have to think about it doing it myself, so I'm sure you're really thinking about it too. In politics, a politician must select his political party. Okay, next one, familiar, familiarity, and family. Be careful with this one. It looks like there's 3 syllables, but we're going to pronounce only 2, family. So familiar, familiarity, and family. I am familiar with the familiarity in that family. I'm familiar with the familiarity in that family. Okay, I almost feel my body is, pushing forward and moving ahead on those stressed syllables. I need to do that to make sure that I'm pronouncing those correctly. Let's look at the last one. Diplomat, diplomacy, diplomatic. So diplomat, the first syllable, diplomacy is the second syllable, and diplomatic is the third syllable. So here we go. The diplomat practices diplomacy in the diplomatic corps. So diplomatic corps. That P we don't pronounce. Diplomatic corps. So the diplomat practices diplomacy in the diplomatic corps. Diplomatic corps. So I want you to repeat this tape as many times as you need to, because it's really important. I think if you're able to shift the stress and the syllables in those word families, I think you're going to be able to hear the stress in all the kinds of new words that you find, and that you'll be able to understand how shifting stress often in a word shifts meaning. So thanks for listening, thanks for practicing with me. I'll see you in class. Bye-bye.